5 ways to fight pornography. Way number 1, understand the difference between being aroused and wanting dopamine. You see, in truth, you're not addicted to pornography, but you're addicted to the huge amounts of dopamine that pornography gives you. Unlike other forms of stimulus, like binging on junk food or Netflix, pornography is a super stimulus. It gives you so much dopamine that once you're done watching, you absolutely crash. So you're literally frying your brain. So your brain, it loves dopamine from a primal level. Your brain is designed to survive and stay alive, to keep you alive, and it wants you to reproduce so you stay alive. When you eat food, you're rewarded with dopamine so you don't starve and die. When you have sex, you are rewarded with dopamine so you have more sex so that your gene pool continues and your genes don't die off. This is just biologically speaking. Your brain always goes towards dopamine. So when you're watching pornography, in the primal brain, you're seeing a fertile woman and your brain wants to have sex because it means life to you. Your brain doesn't know the difference. You're tricking it. The problem is, as soon as dopamine goes down, you just change the video. You change the woman. You're not going to stick to one photo or one video. You're constantly moving through. You're going to keep switching from one to the other. So you're scrolling for hours. Every time your dopamine goes down, you bring it back up. It becomes more and more extreme because it gives you more and more dopamine and you can't stop. You're watching for hours. It's because it's super stimulus. Sex then no longer compares to it. There aren't many different layers to sex as there are to porn. This has to become a top priority in your life. Not to be swept under the covers. It will affect you on an energetic level as well. When you are with another person, with your woman, you won't use your masculine energy anymore because you're wasting all of your energy on pornography and you will eventually just pity yourself. The problem with porn is that it gives you very concentrated amounts of dopamine, very focused amounts of dopamine. So different to past civilizations. They never had this. We now live in a culture that's all about pleasure and we get very concentrated amounts of dopamine. We are a culture of sugar and alcohol consumption. But when it comes to pornography, your brain thinks it's extra important because nothing compares. Remember where it gets it and when it gets it. It's getting used to it as a baseline. So your over-desire is the result of the extra dopamine. You're not actually addicted to pornography because you're aroused. You're actually addicted to the high levels of dopamine. And once you understand the difference, you'll realize you've been battling a ghost this whole time and that there is a way to reset this dopamine baseline. So there's always hope. Way number 2, understand your buffers and your emotional triggers. Pornography has nothing to do with sexual appetites and everything to do with escape. You don't watch porn because you feel horny. You watch it because you're hurting. At one point in time, you turned to porn when you were sad, when you were angry, when you were hurt, when you were depressed. It may have happened when you were young or when you were older. You were stressed out at one point. You may have been lonely, you may have been anxious, bored even, but your brain rewarded you for that experience and you calmed down, especially if you ejaculated. Then your brain says, hey, we did this after being anxious or depressed, and so we can do it again, no longer anxious or depressed. You reinforce the habit, after the emotion. So you have to ask yourself, whenever you want to watch porn, wait a minute, why am I feeling this way? Where's this urge coming from? What is at the root of this urge? You sit, and you think for a second why you want to do this. And you'll find it's never because you're sexually aroused. It's not because you want to have sex. It's not that your sex drive is so high. If you truly focus and become aware of yourself, you will realize the difference between the desire to watch pornography and the desire to have sex. That's why so many people who are married also watch pornography and they can't stop and prefer it sometimes because you're not watching the pornography because you're aroused. You're watching pornography because you want to be aroused. So porn is used as a buffer to escape. We have buffers to escape negative emotions. Some people use Netflix, some people shop, some people eat. It's all about the buffer. We snack a lot during exams because we use buffers to escape negative emotions of studies. The reason we go towards pornography is because it's a very strong coping mechanism. It's that you have subconsciously trained your brain to go towards it. If you had drank alcohol to escape the emotions, that would be your buffer. If you had taken drugs to escape the emotions, that would be your buffer. The same with eating and drinking. So with your buffer, pornography is something that you were exposed to during a time that you had these emotions. And the benefit of all of this, the silver lining in all of this, is that you can untrain this. The same way you trained your brain to go towards pornography as a buffer, you can untrain it that when it feels these emotions, it does not go towards pornography any longer. Way number 3, have a conversation with yourself. What am I really desiring? After this conversation, you write down what you think and feel. You ask yourself, what am I desiring? How can I get it without pornography? When you feel a strong urge and you feel it bubbling up inside you, ask, what is it that I really want? How can I get that without pornography? Maybe I'm looking for a human connection. Maybe I've been too lonely. Maybe you need to feel good about yourself because you're constantly feeling ashamed. If that's the reason, then you have to be open and honest with yourself. You have to really look into yourself about your emotions. So you grab a paper and a pen and you start writing. This is the assignment. Paper and pen, take it right now. And whenever you feel the urge, you write down for 10 minutes without any distractions and don't hold back. Write everything down. Write. And see what comes up. Be so honest and raw. You will look at those thoughts and you will think, wow, all this negativity on this paper. No wonder I'm trying to escape. It will make things so clear to you. What's wrong with me? I'm fake. I'm stressed, I'm lonely, I wish I wasn't alone. You'll see all these things when you write them down. You'll know what's going on. You'll be able to address it. If you feel bored, for example, you can choose to consciously do something that you feel good about. If you feel shame, for example, you'll combat that with empathy and reaching out to people. It takes a lot of vulnerability to do this exercise, but if there is someone you trust, you go and sit down, you tell them, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking. Can you help me with this? Are you able to assist me with this? Of course, it has to be someone that you really trust, but just try this exercise. The next time you feel that strong urge, you get a paper and pen, and you write down how you feel. And at the end of it, you look at that and you analyze what it is you're going through and you develop conscious, intentional solutions to give yourself what you want without going towards your buffer, without going towards your trigger. You consciously give yourself what it wants, not through pornography. Number 4 is to learn how to sit with discomfort. Let's discuss your urges. What's an urge? It's just another word for desire. That feeling, desire, being pulled towards something and having the urge to go and get that feeling that you want. Think of an urge as a vibration in your body. It's not a shaitan or a jinn or a demon. It's not something making you do something bad. Just a vibration in your body. It's all I want you to think about it. Think of it as a bodily vibration. You have this feeling, an urge. It's a bodily vibration. Now, there's a difference between your urges and your thoughts. Urges is the feeling in your body. It's a feeling. The thoughts, however, are sentences in your brain that cause the feeling. The thought always precedes the urge. I want that. I want to keep looking. I'm tired of feeling this way. I deserve this. I like that. I'm tired. I want this. Those are thoughts. This will cause you to have the urge. It comes first. So the first step is notice the thoughts. What thoughts did I have that brought this urge on? What's preceding the urge? I want you to notice it. Then notice the urge. Then focus on the urge. Focus on the sensation in your body. Now drop into your body and use descriptive words to explain your urge. So sometimes I have the urge to eat chocolate, for example, after a meal. I feel my mouth salivate. I feel a stiffness in my stomach. It's somewhat heavy and my throat feels empty. I get a little bit dizzy. I'm just trying as much as I can to describe what I'm feeling. I want to feel like I'm filling my empty feeling up. See, get really deep with the explanation. Where in your body do you feel the urge? Where is it? Is it in your throat? Is it in your neck? Your shoulders? Your gut? Is it heavy or light? Sharp or dull? Fast or slow? What color would you give it? A good way to imagine it is that you're speaking to someone who doesn't have a body. So you want to explain to them in utmost detail without judging. You explain your struggle with pornography to them. You tell them, I feel it in my body. They don't understand this. So you tell me, explain how. How does it feel in your body? You would say, well, it's an urge. It's making me want to do this thing. I feel it in my body. I don't want to do this. I want to stop. So you say, it's a feeling, I feel it in my chest and it's fast. The person says, what else? How else does it feel? Well, you say, my head starts to hurt. The person will ask you, your head hurts. Are you going to stop breathing? Is your head going to explode? You say, no, I won't explode. It just feels tight. That's all it feels. It's tight, uncomfortable. The person says, okay, what else? Well, you say, my heart beats fast. I feel sweaty. My hands become sweaty. You say, okay, what else is it? Are you going to die because of this? You say, no, I'm just uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. Okay, it doesn't feel good. You see what I'm doing? Use neutral language when you're explaining it. Don't say a dark cloud overtaking my body, irresistible pull, moving me towards a demon, all that. None of that. Be objective. Just say it's heavy, it's fast, it's restless, I'm empty, I feel like I want to fill it up. When you do this, what is it about the urge that doesn't allow you to just sit with it? You'll realize, just sit with a tight, heavy, fast feeling. What's so hard about that? Of course you can do that. It's not dangerous to sit with a heavy, fast feeling. When you really get down to what an urge is and find it in your body, you recognize, okay, so this is just a restless, uncomfortable, heavy, tight feeling. That's all it is. I can sit with heavy, tight, fast feelings. That's all it is. No matter what the sensation is, you can bring it down to the feeling. It's not dangerous. Think of your urge not as some big, bad, scary thing, but as a small kid that cries when it doesn't get what it wants. My daughter, she throws a fit when I don't pick her up. But it's bedtime. You have to sleep now, baby. The best way is to get down on her level, comfort her, tell her I love her, that it's bedtime right now. Soothe her. It's not time for chocolate right now or play right now. It's bedtime. It's not that fun to sit with it, but you have to, because if you give into it, then your nafs will throw a fit every time. Your baby will throw a fit every time. You have to teach them not to throw fits whenever they want. You teach yourself the same thing. It applies to you too. Treat it like your baby. Be compassionate to yourself. Say, hey, self, I know you want that, but we're not going to give you that right now. It's uncomfortable for you. Uncomfortable for me too, for both of us. But we're going to have to sit right here in this comfort. I love you. That's why I don't want you to have that. We'll just sit here and let it be. We'll sit in discomfort. This is so different to thinking, oh, you're so evil, you should die, you're unworthy. This will only make your urge stronger, make you want it more. You will want the urge to remove the feeling of shame. And you'll be amazed when you do this, how you bring the sensation down to just a feeling. All this pain that you have felt all this time watching pornography is just an urge, just feelings, energy in your body. You can sit with this. It's just uncomfortable. But when you learn how to sit with the discomfort, it gives you so much confidence, and it takes practice because this is a skill. So you aim for 100 practices, 100 urges. If you get through this 100 times where it comes to me and I drop into my body and I see, all right, today I'm feeling emptiness in my shoulder, in my gut, whatever it is. I spend 5 minutes describing it to myself and having that internal dialogue. You'll be surprised after 100 times, you graduate. You're able to control it. You see, the secret of defeating pornography. Here is the secret in one line. It's not about beating pornography, or it's not about no longer watching pornography. It's about becoming someone who does not want to watch pornography. It's about becoming uninterested. That's the idea. You work on yourself, that you are no longer interested in this. This no longer stimulates you. A lot of people, when they're fighting pornography head on, as in they still want it, but they constantly look away. After going through several urges and sitting with discomfort, you begin to realize that you are someone who no longer wants this anyway. You are uninterested. Way number 5 to battle pornography is to ask God for assistance. Ultimately, we can't do this alone. You have to sit down between you and God. And you say, God, I am powerless. I've tried everything, and I'm going to keep trying. I will keep trying. But I'm here, and I'm opening my arms, and I'm opening my heart to you, Lord. You need to do this for me. There is no power except in you. And you need to give me that power and strength. It all comes from you. You need to do this for me. I'm going to do my part, but I'm going to rely on you, Lord. And the Lord will not leave you. The Lord will be there for you. But you have to rely on Him and rely on His unlimited strength and unlimited beauty. And ultimately, instead of seeking intimacy with a screen, or seeking intimacy just to have sex through sex, you ask the Lord, you ask God to give you intimacy. You have intimacy between you and God. You feel love for God, and you feel His love encompass you and enter your heart. So Lord, allow me to feel my heart in love with you. Fill my heart up so that there is nothing left that I'm looking for outside of you, that I want you, Lord. I want to be in love with you, not with anything else, and not with myself and my addictions and my urges. I need you to do this for me. So ultimately, this is one of the stages that modern men are going to have to go through in order to achieve true manhood. Almost everyone today will have to go through this because the internet has become literally all pornographic. Half of it is pornographic. More than half of it is pornographic. Instagram is almost pornographic. Twitter is almost pornographic. Facebook is almost pornographic. There's need a pornographic website. So whoever you are, you're going to have to face this at one point or another. It's an obstacle. And you're going to have to apply some of these techniques. Now, if you're interested in finding out more, I have a detailed course that will help you on a step-by-step program to defeat pornography. I go into these exercises in more detail, and you can find this at swproject.co.uk. There is a course on there called War on Pornography, and you can sign up to that course and you can take that in your own time, and everything's explained there in detail. So the course goes on for about just under 5 hours, if that, just under 5 hours, step-by-step program. This is something I'd recommend for you if you're going through the battle of leaving pornography, and this short video, of course, isn't enough. It needs something that is constant, and you need a support system. So I would suggest you take on that course, and when you do, and with all faith that I have in you, that you're going to be able to defeat this and become someone that's no longer interested in pornography, I ask that you pray for me, and I pray for you and your success.